Welcome to the video. I'm gonna do a little bit more of this today. Got my tea. I'm working on the second cup from that one tea bag, so it's not very strong. It's the sleepy time, and I'm gonna have to go ahead and get some more. Might get another tea bag. It's one of those 2 tea bag nights that makes 4 cups of tea. This is just to refresh, some people missed it on the video 1. This was billed as Tangled Treasures Fashion Jewelry Grab Bag, 9+ pounds. I didn't weigh it when I got here because I just have a bathroom scale and I just didn't put it on there. You know, it's not, some people do have good scales and they like to see if they got over or under and all that, and I'd like to be able to, but they originally wanted $6.99 for this. Somebody did. It's a pretty little, like a pull thing on here, like a bolo sort of. No markings. So it was 26. The bid was $26, and that Aunt Berry ordered. And because we got to combine shipping, the shipping was only $8 for this heavy stuff, because 3 of them went into one box. The shop Goodwill, I think most of the places, that looks pretty, doesn't it? And I'm going to swing you around here. I got that bottom bulletin board is going to be mostly this lot. I didn't, some of them didn't make it to that because I just went up to the office and got those pins today that were up there and came home to do that. So some of them got put on that other board that you see. And in part 1 we found gold. Billy Bob got some gold, and a beautiful Black Hills gold with the 3 colors of gold, 14K necklace. So, and as I tug on this, something may break, but I'm okay with it as long as I'm not going to ruin precious metal. There's a druzy. It feels like plastic. It is plastic. My friend loves all this fashion jewelry, and when I was putting piles together to put out there at the bottle recycle, she would say, I want to see the next one you put out there. And so I showed her, and basically there was almost nothing left to put out. Now, so that's what's going to happen here. So the money is going for a good cause. She gets joy out of it, and she wears lots of pieces, different pieces, every day to work. And I'm borrowing her phone so I can kind of let it sit in the little stand. It's easier than that iPad. And I'm not going to detangle this thing. It's just not going to work. There's no maker's mark. So I've got some of them in groups. Like maybe later when it's all said and done, I'll put the ones, hopefully I'll get more than one loft. They have some really nice necklaces, and I have one already. So if I can get several, that'll be a lot. And then another lot would be maybe just some name brands. If it has a name brand. People just like things that have a name brand, or resellers may want to just have the name brand. Okay, this came out of the Tangled Treasures. And it's like this kind of opens up. So I'm not unhappy if we already found the gold and the silver. So because my friend really, she'll be like, oh, she's just, when she looks at stuff, she's like, if she were doing this, y'all would probably love it. But she's like, this is so beautiful. And I'm just like, okay, well, I mean, yes, it's beautiful, but my focus is just a little bit different than hers. And she used to regularly buy, when she went to her family to visit, they live in a bigger city and they have jewelry everywhere. It's on the border of our country, so there used to be known, now it's too dangerous to shop in Mexico, but it used to be known as just this, you cross the border to shop. That's what people did. And there were some fantastic stores, and that was about 15, 20 years ago. The border of Texas and Mexico. So she, you know, has an appreciation for jewelry. Now, I believe this might have a name. American Eagle. And it has like a shell piece and the moon, and it's funny because even when you get the pieces out, the pieces are tangled. I mean, I don't know if this was donated as a big tangled mess or if it was part of like the bottom of the barrel and the stuff kind of settled. This is what was down there. My imagination runs wild when it comes to how these places process jewelry. So this got some nice little charms on it. Feathers and moons and some cute designs. Just trying to get this to come down a little bit. Anyway, how are y'all doing today? It is Saturday evening. And it's been a wonderful Saturday. How about y'all? And by the way, when I was looking at, like, I click on the iPad and all of a sudden all these comments on an older video from 6 months ago popped up. So I'm just letting y'all know when y'all are like, why is she just now commenting? I'm just now seeing that, and I don't know if it's, I don't know why. It happens. It was on this one video. It's like just now I'm getting comments because I like to see what everybody says, and I always like to keep up with, some of y'all are going through some very trying times, big changes, stuff like that. And I like to keep up with everybody, and I appreciate people's comments or just their views, even if they're not commenting. But I do try to comment back, and I was like, it just said 6 months ago, and there was like 10 people. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, So that's what's going on with that. I know one of them was Deborah, and one of them was Pam, and several other people. ICAS helping me identify some stones back then, and those beads that everybody wanted. Miss Vicky in Arizona, she got the beads. I think my memory serves me correctly, and she's really wanted them, and I'm sure she made something beautiful out of it. I'm over here just working on this, so it's easier to pull this over. Y'all don't want to see all this back and forth because I really don't know what I'm doing. All I'm doing is just kind of moving things around and seeing if it'll loosen up, and it is slowly. So Minka was outside today. I took her outside, and she was she was sitting at the front door. She's just so sweet. She has her routine, and whenever we come and go, she sits at the doors or the windows, and I mean, she's like a little puppy in a way. but a calm puppy, you know. She just wants to see where her Olivia goes, and then when we come back, she smells the leash. She's so smart. She probably knows more about what we do. Like, oh, they went to that place. No, that place is different. They went to that place now, you know, or the same place. Anyway, I was at the back of the house and I said, you know, Minka, you want to come outside? And she came running. She knows when I hold her pink leash what that means, and she kind of gives me a little attitude when I'm getting it over her head. And it doesn't help that Olivia is there squealing, like worried and squeaking, high-pitched squeaking every once in a while. Minka picks up on that Olivia's worried. And then when we went out, I attached that little short pink leash to Olivia's long leash, and I sat out there and had my Chinese leftovers and some cereal. So we were out there a good 30 minutes. She was, and I was. We were. Alright, that came loose, but is this one gonna, here we go. And so, Olivia, I was kind of going in and out a little bit, just heating the soup and then watching her from the window and then going back out. This is a beautiful color. We'll get to the story in a minute. Very beautiful color. It's cold. Hold on. Surely that's not a stone. I don't. It feels like plastic, but it's cold. I think it's glass. I really don't know. It could be a stone. I mean, honestly, I don't know. It's, I love the color of teal. And Ceathy was having was it a necklace on? And she was saying that the color in the camera was a bluer color than, like, that's pretty accurate. It's a little more green than in the camera. It's a pretty necklace. I love that color. So I'm gonna pick up the camera for a second. I have to kind of hold because it's real long. So, I mean, it's just beautiful, actually. That's nice. Oh, got that main street out there and something bad happened. You can hear them. And so entangled up with that was this locket. And then the locket has a tangle. Not too bad. So then when we come in, you know, whenever I kind of came in and out for a second, heat up the soup, get the cereal, Olivia's just laying by the back door. And I have to tell her, you know, Minka's okay. She's just a really good, it's a motherly thing, but it's more than that. It's more than that. I get choked up. She loves her. They love each other. And Minka started this thing about getting in the fireplace, y'all. We have a fireplace screen, and the damper's closed. It's not like she can get in there and crawl up the chimney or anything, but I don't want her in there. And we have a screen on there, but she can kind of push through it. And Olivia just has a fit. Oh, look how cute. Olivia has a fit when she's doing that. She lets me know. She runs up to the fireplace and is sniffing and looking, and then I make sure that Minka's, I'm like, Minka, no, you know. And she comes out. So I was spot watered today. That was weird. I did that one little piece and then got a lot of play in here. Well, that's a nice class, but I don't know if it doesn't look like it says anything. We had a spot water today, 100 degrees. I don't know how many days in a row. I don't know if it's officially 100, but the truck says it is. It was 101 in the truck thermometer, but oh. So first thing this morning, the rock lady that's really good, she put some out, and you know, most people run down there, or they wait on her, I think, downtown. She's always putting them out Saturday morning for the tourists. In downtown they had some kind of cupcake thing, and she drew several painted a bunch of cupcake rocks, and her rocks are just nice. But by the time I got down there weren't any, and there was only one post, so I feel bad, because the people that get them are the people that, well, she posts and says come get me, and so those people are already up and know, and they're probably parked somewhere lurking. And there wasn't any left for anybody else, or for the cupcake activity. I mean, it was like a cupcake festival downtown. Our downtown is starting to come alive. It's cool. We have a brewery now, which I want us to be. I've always said we could be a little Austin when Austin was smaller. Not that I ever went, but I kind of have heard about back in the day Austin was nice, you know. And so we do finally have a local brewery that brews, and you can see the big vats, and that's cool. And so families are out, tourists are coming, and I mean, I did some rocks for it, but I don't have time, which is it's an honor. What does that say? Imagine 69 imaginative Cancer. Okay, Cancer, are y'all imaginative? I don't know any Cancers very close. Princess Diana was a Cancer. How many of y'all loved her? I mean, she just, what can you say? Things weren't boring back in the 80s. Life was not as, I mean, I'm never bored, but, you know, she just did a great job. She really did. She did her job, and she did it well. She looked good. She played the part. She connected with people. She dressed nice. You know, gave people something to talk about and something to do. Now it's just a crazy world, and my mom was like, I couldn't sleep the other night. I said, y'all need to just quit watching the news. They watch it 5, 5:30, 6, and 10. So I said, if you want to make one change, just quit the 10 o'clock. Because the news is no longer, you know, like back in the day in the 70s and 80s, when you didn't know what happened all over the world. Information wasn't so readily available, and the news was pretty much about the top of what you know was important at the time, not just a reel about everybody's viewpoint and I mean, just ridiculous. So I said, you just need to quit watching. And they watch plenty of documentaries, her and her husband. They still have each other. And a dumpster dove, which she does not approve of, by the way. So I don't talk about it much to her. She certainly doesn't watch the videos. She doesn't want to. And it's not her thing anyway, all this. But I dumpster dove a couple books about, because they've been watching documentary on Everest. So I dumpster dove a book about a guy. He wrote it later on. Climbing Everest when he was 16. And it was written for, there were two of them exactly the same. So I told, and they were skinny and short, not these long drawn out novels. Nice pictures. Ooh, that came out nicely there. And it's, of course, it's tangled there. Yeah, toothpicks or needles, right, is what I need for that part. And so she loved it and he loved it, and they would read some of that book and then they would watch their show. So they watch plenty of stuff with Netflix that's not the news. Okay, this is nice. Let me just double check this clasp. It's one of those tricky clasps. Nice clasp, but not precious. We'll hang this on here. It's nice. Light blue enamel. Light blue enamel. And then as it hangs, that pendant, one of them hangs down. Let's see if I can get it to do it. Of course, there we go. They flip the other way, but pretty. I don't believe there's a maker's mark. I'm enjoying this just because I'm like, oh well, let me do something. And then I'll go in there and work on the tangle. It's not bothering me. But watching it may not be for everybody. And that's okay. What were we talking about? So I got the rocks a few, well no, I didn't find it. I went after rocks this morning. I went down there and walked the downtown with my cup of coffee and came back home, and what did I do? I had to do some stuff for work that they wanted us to do yesterday. I mean, they dumped it on us to do over the weekend. And of course I walked Olivia first. That's right, we went on our walk. And then I watered a little, and I went to the dumpster dive. The main one was working, so I guess they're both still working there. She was working. They closed at 2 today. And my competition was at his favorite. I went at 3:30, and the nice one usually stays there till. Do I see a mark in this clasp? Look at that. I see a mark in this clasp. $9.25. So this is probably handmade, but what have we here? All of you people that know about crystals, this got to be something nice. Look at that. 925. So, Swarovski, you think? Y'all think? It's pretty. There it is. That's pretty good. So, she was actually out of there in an hour. And she threw a bunch of electronics out. I didn't make a video because it was some books. One really amazing book that I may have to get out later and show y'all. But several great books. A bunch of scrap metal for me. Lots of vintage drawer pulls, which they're too scuffed up to sell. I am going to scrap them. They go for a little bit more than just metal. They go for like 35 cents a pound because they're cast aluminum. This is pretty. Let's see if we'll ever get that. Maybe there's another one. And so, is this charm? Surely this isn't Coco Chanel. I think Charming. Something else looks a lot like it, and I've mixed it up before. It's another earring. It's cute. Some shell and pieces of brass. Some old slide cases, which I may keep or sell. An older iron, not real old, but vintage. Great condition. Gonna try to sell that. And then just lots of scrap. And then some things I took to the lady that is like that Depression era lady at the antique mall booth. She was like, seems like she was raised during that era because of the way her little mall, she's practically taken over half of the little antique mall with all of her booths. That's just not helping me. It's not coming open. And she's my outlet when I can't sell something, but I don't want to set it out for my competition to see, for other people to get at the bottle recycle, because the city would get mad at me anyway for putting stuff out. They don't like that. Well, this came out of there. Hold on, I'm going to put it on the mannequin. It's nice. And they must have just thrown everything without a name brand somewhere in a bucket, like, and that's what we might be going through, but we have gotten some. Okay, I'm going to just hang some of this up real quick before it gets tangled. Anyway, she was gone pretty quick. And I was getting everything out of the dumpster thinking he was going to show up any second now. Okay, I'll put the rest up later. And he didn't. He was, because I saw him on my way over there, and he likes to hang out at this little convenience store for hours and hours. And I guess he thinks he can come, like when she told him come after 5. So he's wasting his time while I'm over there getting all the loot, which worked for me. And this has a tangle that I wonder if they just, every time they had something tangled, they threw it in a pile. That's what this looks like. These are pretty. There's no mark. They threw it in a pile, and then that became like, then they decided to just sell it, because every piece is tangled like this. This is where you would need to get the needles or the toothpicks and work on that. So if you're sorting jewelry and something's too tangled, you just throw it in that pile. That's the tangled pile. If they put on another one of these, yeah, I'll buy it. I don't know if others, I haven't gone on the shop Goodwill and just searched tangled lots, because I'm not so sure. I can't get that open, but That's just gonna go to the people. I don't think she's interested in that. These are some nice bangles. They're not marked, and they stick to the magnet, so they're not aluminum, they're iron, and they're certainly not a precious metal. So anyway, that was kind of cool to get a lot of stuff he would have wanted. And he never showed up. Because I was there a good 15 minutes, which is a long time for me. I do not like to be there that long. 101 degrees. That came out nicely. Oh, we need to look at that piece. Let me make sure this isn't saying anything. So this piece has this is glass, it's not broken, and is that like a black string, I think, woven through there, yeah. And gold tone or bronze with a tassel. I think that knot's supposed to be there. So that's nice. And then here's this one. This crystal needs to be clean, but it looks, I don't know. It may be plastic, I can't tell. Cannot tell. You just never know what we're going to pull out. That's cool. Man, that looks good, but let me just make sure there's nothing written on that post. Nope. So we'll put that over here, the single earrings. I'm thirsty. It's another reason I'm watering even what people call the weeds. We have I call them black-eyed Susans. It's a beautiful sunflower out there. And there's plenty of them in the fields this time of year, the yellow with the brown center. And they come up on the side of our lot. There's a little area that always has flowers, wildflowers, and I'm only mowing a strip that is close to the street, and I'm letting the rest grow whatever it wants. And Brady Bunch can't do anything about it. They're not trying to, but oh, that's kind of cute. This is an earring. Very nice light color, dangling. Some shell pieces. And this may be the other earring. And I don't see a hook thing. Just need to fix that. The hole's not broken. And then we have this. This is pretty. Kind of a black rhinestone type. Don't know if it's glass or not. Okay, it's coming apart nicely. And we will look at it. So we're going to put it up here, and we will look at that. Trying to think what else was going on. Oh, the watering. So, y'all know how I feel about thirsty. Anything going without the thirst thing, I just don't, I don't like to be thirsty. I think it's real suffering when animals or anything, plants, are thirsting. So I got out there today behind the sunflowers because they did need some water, and I watered them so that they'll last. We have a chance of rain on Wednesday. Okay, let's look at this. There's that. Pretty, isn't it? So I watered them. The neighbors were probably like, look at her out there watering the weeds. I'm hanging on to those because they're beautiful, and they're just, they say summer, you know? And we may have something here, y'all. Hold on, we'll get to it. What is this CC thing? It's not Coco Chanel, is it? No, it's all tangled up. You know, what's not in here is like some vintage. Something's broken there. I mean, I haven't noticed older pieces. Definitely no vintage name brand. I'm having trouble because one of the clasps is not coming open. So I'm a little bit confused as to so the thirst thing, I don't know if y'all have ever heard of Corey Ten Boom. She I don't know exactly, but she, Nazi Germany times. Okay, stuff came apart. Here we go. So these are, I don't know how that's supposed to go together. I don't think that's Coco Chanel, is it? It's yellow, black. This is the one that wouldn't open. So does it just hang on the back of you? Like, let's say just hang down on both sides of you? Is that how it does? Like this? I wanted to read some of her books because I found like the whole series in the dumpster. I'm going to end up selling them, but okay, this is broken, so I'll just show you. Big time broken. But that would be something somebody could use if they got it off of there. think you can get it off of there maybe. Anyway, I couldn't, I wanted to read it, but when she started talking about being put in the railroad cars, because I think she helped save, you know, some people that she wasn't supposed to. The topic is ridiculous. I just hate that topic. It's so sad. But anyway, she was describing being in these railroad cars on the way to the concentration camp, and they opened it and they would just give up one bucket. People were so thirsty that, you know, they were, the way she wrote it, I was like, I cannot handle this. You know, I just can't. Okay, so on a more positive note, but basically she said there's nothing worse than thirst. This is gonna say something. So what does it say? 1/20th. It's gonna be gold filled, so Billy Bob likes gold filled, don't you, Billy Bob? May have to do this off screen or whatever, I don't know. Ooh, pretty. There's the pendant with it. Does the pendant say something? Yeah, gold filled, 14K, gold filled. I'm gonna let y'all see that because we like to see what it says, don't we? I do. $14K GF. So the pendant is as well, and it's really nice. Look at, oh, it's like done like a and that's on my bucket list, a nugget. Probably gonna have to just undo this. It's attached to this, which is so pretty, but it's not silver, but it's beautiful. Very, very nice. And I do think the chain is broken. Claire's is the other piece. So we'll stop on the gold field. An owl fell out. Where did the owl go? Here's another little tiny chain. Look how cute that one is. We'll look at him. And he's gonna be a Claire's as well. The best friend, but that's a cute one. Thank y'all for joining us. Billy Bob will have his untangled gold field when we get back.